Praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Rakah HaKodash. Double honor to the apostles and the elder bishops of Great Millstone that rule well, that teach well, while learning the truth 100% according to the Bible. Also want to say shalom to the elect, the 144,000 men, prophet, servants scattered abroad the four corners of the earth. And shalom to you, Akwaf, which are you sisters that are sincere in your children. Shalom. And in today's lesson, as you brothers can see from the title, this is going to be a breakdown of 2nd Esdras chapter 15. Because as we can see through all of the things that are happening here in this place, America, that this is the time and season where a lot of these prophecies from this chapter is about to start manifesting in this place, America, man. That and chapter 16, but I'm going to be going into chapter 15 tonight. And I'm going to start from verse 1, and I'm going to read all the way down to 19, because these are all of the things that we ultimately see beginning to occur. And these are the main part of the prophecies that the Lord said will be happening in the latter times, right? Where you're going to have all of these chaos and all of these other different types of things ultimately taking place, right? So I'm actually start there. This is 2nd Esdras chapter 15, and I'm going to start at verse 1. It said, "Behold, speak thou in the ears of my people," who is the Lord's people, the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native American Indians, which makes up the biblical Hebrew Israelites. And you also have Specklebergs that may look like the heathen nations, but their seed line also goes back to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, right? So it says, "Speak thou in the ears of my people the words of prophecy," right? Which is the spirit of our Lord Yahweh. And when you go into that word prophecy, it means to tell of things before they happen. Right? It says, "Which I will put in thy mouth, saith the Lord." And I actually got a precept that I'm going to bag up to go with that. This is Ezekiel chapter 3, verse 17. It says, "Son of man, I have made thee a watchman unto the house of Israel," which is a people before is a place. Right? It says, "Therefore hear the word of my mouth and give them warning from me." And that's what the true men of the Lord are doing in these times, starting off with the apostles and elders of Great Millstone and the men on down teaching the same doctrine. We're warning you tribes to repent and to get right with the Lord, and warning you of these said evils that are to come in the very near future, because that's our job as watchmen, right? To warn you, as it says in the book of Ezekiel, to get the blood off our hands, right? It says whether they hear or forbear. Because we know ultimately that 2/3 of our people are not going to listen to these prophecies. They're not going to take heed to these warnings, right? But we still have to warn you whether you listen or not. So that, hey, when the Lord brings forth the judgment, which we know he's about to bring very soon, you can't say you wasn't warned, man, when these times begin to manifest, right? So this is verse 2. It said, "And cause them to be written in paper, for they are faithful and true," right? That's talking about the prophecies, man, because all of these things are faithful. They're going to happen. You know, no matter if people don't believe them, no matter if people come up against it, don't believe it, whatever the case may be, these words are faithful. And they're going to fulfill exactly what they is that Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai ultimately wants them to do, right? And I'm going to go to a precept just to, bag that up as well through the Spirit. This is Isaiah chapter 55, right? And I'm going to start at verse 11 in the KJV. And it says, "So shall my word be that goeth forth out of my mouth," right? Who is the mouthpiece of the Lord? That's the prophets. It tells you that in Amos 3 and 7, how surely the Lord power will do nothing, but he revealeth his secrets, right? The mysteries, right? The things that are to come, the prophecies, unto his servants, the prophets, man, which are the same men that are back now here in this time that are warning you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native American Indians, man, of the times and seasons that we're ultimately about to come into. It says, "It shall not return unto me void," right? Meaning empty, because all of these words have life in them. They're going to fulfill exactly what it is that Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai ultimately wants them to do. These prophecies, they're going to come to pass. As it tells you in Habakkuk 2 and 3, "For the vision," meaning the prophecies, "is yet for an appointed time. But at the end it shall speak and not lie. Though it tarry, wait for it, it will surely come and will not tarry," right? So it said, "But it shall accomplish that which I please, and it shall prosper in the thing whereto I sent it," right? So all of these prophecies are going to take place, man, at an appointed time that the Lord ultimately had for them to take place. But we see now that through everything that's occurring in the world, especially here in this place, America, that we're living in that time and season now where these things are manifesting. But they're going to continue to escalate and grow and grow and to get worse, as time moves on. So this is 2nd Esdras chapter 15. I'm going to start at verse 3. It said, "Fear not the imaginations against thee. Let not the incredulity of them trouble thee that speak against thee." That word incredulity goes into unbelief. And we got a lot of people out here in these times that don't believe. They're coming up against the word. You got a lot of false prophets out here that are rising out of the woodworks, coming up against the doctrine. You got a lot of people saying, "Oh, those Israelite guys, they're not teaching the truth." And you're right. Not all the Israelites are teaching the truth, but we know the apostles and elders of Great Millstone that they have the 100% truth according to the Bible, man. right? And the men that follow under them and that teach the same doctrine as well, right? But we know that there's going to be a lot of people in these times that are going to be unbelievers. That's just their lot, man. But as it says, we're not supposed to fear those things. We're not supposed to allow what these people say or believe to shake our faith, because we know these words are true and we know that these prophecies are going to come to pass. And I'm actually go to a precept just to, touch on that as well. This is Romans chapter 3, and I'm going to start at verse 3, right? In the KJV. It says, "For what if some did not believe, right? Shall their unbelief make the faith of the Most High without effect?" Right? Verse 4, "Yahweh forbid. Yea, let the Most High be true, but every man a liar," right? "As it is written, that thou mightest be justified in thy sayings, and mightest overcome when thou art judged," man. Right? So these words are going to take place, man, no matter if people don't believe it, no matter if people come up against the truth, no matter what it is these people may do. We know that all of these prophecies are going to come to pass at the said time that the Heavenly Father has them to come to pass in, or when they manifest, I should say, which are going to be very soon, And this is verse 4. And this is the why we shouldn't allow the incredulity of them to trouble us, man. Because it says, "For all the unfaithful shall die in their unfaithfulness," man. So all of these unbelievers, 2/3 of our people and these other heathens, these people are going to perish, man. In this place, Babylon the Great America. This is where a lot of these people during these times that we're about to come into are going to meet their grisly end, man. Mainly of our people, the 2/3, the ones that come up against this word, that don't believe, that scoff, that do the wicked things that they do. All of these people are going to be judged by Yahweh, by Hashem Yahushua, through these various evils that he's going to manifest upon the world, mainly in this place, Babylon the Great America, man. Right? This is verse 5. It said, "Behold, saith the Lord, I will bring plagues upon the world." And we're already seeing the beginning stages of these plagues that the Lord is bringing upon America, man. They're going to get worse and worse as time goes on. As it tells you in 2 Esdras 14-16, it says, "For yet greater evils," right? Meaning greater bad times than those which thou hast seen done shall be done hereafter, man. Right? And verse 17 says, "For look how much the world shall be weaker through age, so much the more shall evils," meaning bad times, "increase upon them that dwell therein." So this is the time and season where we're living in, right? You got a lot of plagues already coming upon this place, America. All of the floods that are happening. You just had a flood happen in Texas. It deleted at least, I believe, 100 plus people. Could be more, because we know how they like to play with the numbers and the algorithm and all of those different things. So, you got a lot of people that perished from that. You got a flood that happened in North Carolina not too long ago. That was a plague from the Lord. So, I mean, we're just living in that time where the Lord is constantly plaguing this place, America, and the world, man. And it's only going to get worse, as it tells you in Matthew 24:8, that all these are the beginning of sorrows, right? The beginning of mournings and evils that the Lord is going to bring, man. So it's going to get way more chaotic very soon, right? And it says, "Behold, saith the Lord, I will bring plagues upon the world, the sword," right, which represents chaos, which is going to happen. You're going to have a lot of chaos and destruction happening here in these streets of America. And that sword also goes into division, setting a man and a woman at variance against one another. We know Lord Yahushua said that he was going to do that in the book of St. Matthew, chapter 10, verse 34. It says, "Think not that I am come to send peace on earth. I came not to send peace, but a sword." So the Lord is the one that's going to bring this division. He's going to be the one putting people at odds with one another, man. Because all of this is going towards prophecy, man, and the times that we're about to come into, And it says famine, right? We know that's going to be a major part of prophecy as well. You're going to have a lot of these things taking place very soon as well. You're already hearing talks of all of these CEOs and of people of these big corporations and companies coming down and telling people that they're going to be food shortage and just in the very near future. In this place, America, you're going to have empty stores, empty shelves. They're already preparing people's minds for these things, because these things will happen, man, in the very near future. And these elites, these people at the top, they know that these things are going to happen. And the Lord is going to put the spirit on them, right, on the left-hand side to ultimately to engineer a lot of these things. But it's all the forward and the brain forth prophecy, man, at the end of the day. So this is the next one. It said death and destruction. Right? And these are the things that Yahweh Shem Yahushua is getting ready to bring, man. Like I said earlier, that flood that people saw in Texas, that's only a small scale of the judgment that the Lord is getting ready to bring upon this place, America, man. It's about to get way worse in this country, man. I'm talking about these people having seen the power of Yahweh Shem Yahushua, man. And it's about to get way worse. Like I said, that was just 100-something people with the flood in Texas. Wait till you cut on the news one day and you see 1,000 people. 10,000 people, 20,000 people. This is how the Lord is about to start cranking up these judgments, man. It's about to get way worse around here. right? And this is the reason why. Verse 6, for wickedness, right? Sin upon sin, right? Iniquity have exceedingly polluted the whole earth, and their hurtful works are fulfilled, right? Therefore saith the Lord, right? And we know this was what was happening during the time of Noah, before the Lord ultimately brought forth that flood, man. And we can see that with the behavior of the people here in America, Babylon the Great, how they behavior and things of that nature. It basically goes in line with how the people during the flood were behaving, before the Lord brought that flood and destroyed the people during that time, which, as the beloved Apostle Gabar went to in one of his lessons he did maybe about 2-3 weeks ago, that those same people from the flood are those same spirits that are back now. So we know that we're in that time of judgment, man. And I'm going to actually go to that. Bear with me. In the book of Genesis, right? Bear with me. I'm going to go to chapter 6. Right? And Salakia. And I'm going to start at verse 5. And it says, this is Genesis chapter 6, and I'm going to start at verse 5. It said, and Yahweh saw that the wickedness of man and woman, right, was great in the earth, just like it is now, man. Sin is very great in the earth, especially in this place, America. They celebrate it. It's lifted on high. You get rewarded for being evil. That's all they promote in this place, man. So this is why the Lord is about to bring judgment, man, and fiery judgment, right? It says that the wickedness of man was great in the earth, and that every imaginations of the thoughts of his heart, right, meaning the mind in the Hebrew, it goes into law, was only evil continually, man. And that's the same mindset that these people have now in this society. As it tells you in Ecclesiastes 1:9, that there is no new thing done under the sun. So the same people that were of old that, had those demonic thoughts and were wicked, and the only thing they thought about was being demons. These are those same people that are back now, man. And you could tell that through the behavior. But that's how we also know that the Lord is getting ready to bring fiery judgment to this place as well. Because the only thing you got to do is look at the behavior of the people, man. And the Lord gave us actually, a rundown of how the people would be behaving before he brought forth the judgment, right? And I'm actually go to that. This is 2 Timothy. And we're going to get back to 2 Esdras 15, but bear with me. Right? This is 2 Timothy chapter 3, and I'm going to start at verse 1. It said, this know also that in the last days perilous times shall come, right? You go into that word perilous, it goes into a time of uncertainty, a time full of chaos, a time of risk. And that's what the Lord is getting ready to bring into this place, America, man. We already see it now, but it's only going to continue to intensify and to amplify and to get worse, right? And it says, verse 2, this is just backing off of, what I read in Genesis 6 and 5 about how the people only thought evil continually. And this is why, because these are the mindsets and the characteristics that these people are exuding, that they're showing, right? Mainly of our people, the 2/3 of the nation of Israel and these other heathen nations, right? But mainly of our people. It says, for men shall be lovers of their own selves, right? And when you go into that, that means people, thinking highly of themselves, everybody being full of pride, narcissism. That's what you see in this society here in America, man. That's what they push. That's what everybody mindset is on, thinking highly of themselves off of the material possessions that they possess and things of that nature. All of these things are indicators that this place is at its end, man, that this place has ran its course, right? And it says, covetous, right? Covetous goes into people being greedy of gain, being greedy or, wanting something that they see another person with, right? Being envious, right? And that's a lot of people in this society as well, right? And it says boasters, right? People love boasting. Oh, I got this. You don't got that. I got this money. You know how Jake is and Eve. But hey, this is the behaviors of these people, man, right? It said proud, right? And everybody in this society is proud, especially these women, and these men, but mainly these women, because they've been given that power in this society by the devil, man, to think pride for themselves and to think themselves to be, haughty, and to think of themselves of being, at a high level or whatever the case may be, due to all of the access or all of the privilege that they get in this society, man. Because this earth is being ran by the wicked, man. So that's why all of these things are happening. Everything is out of course in this place, man, right? And that's why the Lord is getting ready to bring forth the cleansing agent, which are going to be those ICBM nuclear missiles, man. But before that happens, you're going to have already all type of fire and judgment and chaos and calamities and all type of plagues coming upon this place before those missiles hit, right? So as it said, blasphemers, right? Disobedient to parents, which going into the spiritual parents. You got the elder apostles and the elder bishops, a great millstone, the true prophets of the Lord that he have set up in these times to bring our people to him, right? But they don't want to obey the prophets of the Lord. They don't want to listen to them. They don't want to hearken to their messages. They don't want to believe what the men of the Lord are telling them. They scoff, they come up against it. All of these different types of things, man, right? So it says unthankful, right, and unholy, man, because these people are not holy. When you're holy, that means to be set apart. These people, they love the ways of the world. They love darkness. They love evil, man. So that proves that these people are unholy, man. And you can tell by their conduct, right? As it tell, well, their conversation, which that word in the Greek goes into anastrophe, which goes into basically the behavior of the people, how they live their lives, you know, the things that they partake in, right? And this is verse 3. It said, without natural affection, right? It tells you about that in St. Matthew 24:12. It said, and because iniquity shall abound, right? The love of many shall wax cold. And when you go into the word cold in the Greek, it goes into psychos, which means crazy. So a lot of these people in this society are losing their mind, right? And that all goes back to the sin, the wickedness that is polluting this place, man, right? And it says, truce breakers, false accusers, right? Incontinent, fierce, and despisers of those that are good. That's why ultimately the 2/3 of our people are going to be eradicated, because they despise that which is good, which is Yahweh Bashim Yahushua, and the men that he have set up to warn them, man, of these evils that are coming, right? So they despise the Lord, man. And it says, traitors, heady, high-minded, Salakia, lovers of pleasures more than lovers of the Most High. And that's basically all I wanted to get in there. But that just goes to show you this is the behavior of these people in this world, man. This is how we know that the Lord is getting ready to bring forth that judgment, because we could just see that these are those people, man, right? So this is back in 2nd Esdras chapter 15. I'm going to start at verse 8. It said, I will hold my tongue no more as touching their wickedness, right, which they profanely commit, right? And we're going to look at that word profanely, right, for edification's sake. Bear with me. Profanely. Because they profanely commit sin, right? They profanely, you know, do things that are wicked, man, right? Bear with me. Right? So this is the definition of the word profane, but on the AI overview on Google, it said to treat something with abuse. Right? So these people are abusing sin. They're doing it so much, it's almost like a sport to these people. They love to engage in it. They love to indulge in it, right? And the Lord is tired of it, man. Right? So it says, I will hold my tongue no more as touching their wickedness, which they profanely commit. Neither will I suffer them in those things which they wickedly exercise themselves, man. Right? Behold, the innocent and the righteous blood crieth unto me, and the souls of the just complain continually, right? And that's going into the Lord's elect, man. Yahweh Ratazah, we be at that number, right? Those are the men and the women that are sighing and crying for all of the evilness that is going on in this world, right? We're just like Lot during his time when he was in Sodom and Gomorrah, you know, and I'm actually go to that precept as well. Bear with me, right? And those are going to be the ones the Lord is going to have mercy upon, just like he delivered just Lot, which was the elect during his time, just like he delivered our forefather Noah from the flood, him, his wife, and their kids, which were the elect of their times. He also have an elect, right, which is the 144,000, and also it calls the 1/3 remnant, which is the innumerable multitude of men, women, and children, believers, man, that the Lord is going to ultimately bring through all of these judgments that he's going to bring, man, right? Because that's just how bad it's about to get out here very soon. Right, but I'm gonna get back to this. This is Peter. Let me see. This is 2nd Peter, chapter 2, and I'm gonna start at verse. I'm gonna start at verse. I'm gonna start at verse 4. It says, for if Yahweh spare not the angels that sinned, but cast them down to hell, right? And this is talking about the Israelites, man. The men that were in power when we fell from our grace, when sin entered into the earth via the transgression that Eve did, right? So that's what it's talking about when we fell from our high state. That's what it's talking about, the angels. And it said that sin, but cast them down to hell, which is a condition that's played out on earth, which is us being, ruled over by these nations, being at a low state, being oppressed. This is the hell that the Lord's people is going through, the Israelites, right? It said, and delivered them into chains of darkness to be reserved unto judgment. And it said, and spare not the old world, but save Noah, right? The eighth person, a preacher of righteousness, bringing in the flood upon the world of the ungodly, right? And turning the cities of Sodom and Gomorrah into ashes, condemned them with an overthrow, making them an example unto them that should live, Salakia, those that after should live ungodly, right? And delivered just Lot, vexed with the filthy conversation of the wicked, right? Verse 8, for that righteous man dwelling among them and seeing and hearing vexed his righteous soul from day to day with their unlawful deeds. And that's what a lot of us brothers and sisters are now in this world. We're just like, we're having to go through all of the things that we ultimately have to go through in this society, with the wickedness that we have to deal with the 2/3 of our people that don't have this understanding. They're just out here doing whatever. We're vexed by that, man. And that's why we're sighing and crying to the Lord. And I'm actually go to a precept on that as well in the book of Ezekiel 3, man. Because that's what the Lord elect is going to be doing, man. They're going to be sighing and crying to the Lord to bring forth judgment, man, and to deliver us out of this place that we're in, man, this hell. This is Ezekiel chapter 9, and I'm going to start at verse 3, right? And I'm going to read down. It says, and the glory of the power of Israel was gone up from the cherub, whereupon he was to the threshold of the house. And he called to the man clothed with linen, which had the writer's inkhorn by his side, right? Verse 4. And the Lord, Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua, said unto him, go through the midst of the city, through the midst of Jerusalem, which is a people before it's a place, right? Which are you Israelites, you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native American Indians. It said, and set a mark, right, upon the foreheads, and that mark is different from the mark in Revelation 13 and 16. That goes into the charagma, which is the mark in Revelation 13, 16. This is talking about the mark to be exempt from judgment, which in the Hebrew, it goes into tawah, right? Tawah. And it says, set a mark upon the foreheads of the men that sigh and that cry for all the abominations that be done in the midst thereof. And that's what the Lord's hopeful elect, Yahweh Ratazah, we be at that number. That's what we're doing now, man. We're crying and sighing to the Lord to bring forth judgment upon this place and to deliver us out of the hand of our oppressors, man. This is what we're crying to the Lord daily and telling him to do for us, man. And we know it's going to come, right? And this is verse 5, because this is what's going to happen. It says, and to the others he said in mine hearing, go ye after him through the city and smite, right? Which means to delete. And let not your eyes spare, neither have ye pity, man. And that's what the Lord is about to have in these times we're coming into. He's not going to have no pity upon anybody other than his elect, man, his remnant that he has set apart, that have been sighing and crying from the evils that are being done in this earth, that are complaining to the Lord. Those are going to be those special spirits that he's going to have mercy upon. Everybody else, man, the 2/3 of our people, these heathens, the Lord is going to kill these people, man, right? And it says, slay utterly old and young, both maids and little children, right? Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua is no respect to persons. It tells you that in Romans chapter 2, verse 11. So the Lord is going to bring judgment upon these people, man, right? And it says, and women, but come not near any man, right? An elect man, upon whom is the mark, which means, to be exempt from the judgment that's coming, the hell, the tribulation, and begin at my sanctuary. Then they began at the ancient men which were before the house, right? So that's what the Lord is getting ready to bring, man. He's going to bring a lot of evils upon these Israelites, man, especially if you that know the truth and then you turn back, went to the world, and you took your hands off the plow. It said that you shall be beaten with many stripes, man, roughly paraphrasing it. So we know that, hey, man, the Lord is getting ready to bring forth a lot of judgment, man. And we just pray and hope that we're a part of the elect, man, that we can ultimately, the Lord can have that protection upon us and separate us from these evils that we know is about to come upon this place, man. Right? So this is 2nd Esdras chapter 15, back at where I left off at verse 9. It says, and therefore saith the Lord, I will surely avenge them, right? The Lord is going to avenge his elect and receive unto me all the innocent blood from among them, right? Verse 10, behold, my people is led as a flock to the slaughter. I would not suffer them now to dwell in the land of Egypt, right? And that's talking about in this place, America, because we know that this place is spiritually called Sodom and Egypt. This is not talking about ancient Egypt during the time of Pharaoh. No, this is this place, America, man, right? This is verse 11. It said, but I will bring them with a mighty hand and a stretched out arm and smite Egypt with plagues as before, right? That's letting you know that this is not talking about ancient Egypt. It's as before. So this is talking about a new Egypt, which is talking about America, Babylon the Great, the whore, right? That sitteth upon many waters, right? As it tells you in Revelations. It says, and will destroy all the land thereof, right? And we know the Lord is going to destroy all of this landmass of America, man, via those ICBM nuclear missiles that I spoke about earlier, right along with the laser beams of the chariots, man. That's going to come down upon this place. That's going to be the final plague from the Lord. But as I said before that plague actually come, you're already going to have hail and all different types of things breaking loose in this country, man, before the missiles even hit, right? So this is verse 12. It said, Egypt shall mourn, which that's going into the people, right? Which are these modern day Egyptians, you Babylonians, you Americans, man, you people that ultimately love this place and think that this place is going to last forever, right? It says shall mourn, which means to cry. You people are going to be lamenting, sad, man. And the foundation of it shall be smitten with the plague and the punishment that the Most High shall bring upon it, man. And the Lord is getting ready to bring those punishments, man. Like I said, he's already bringing it now, but at a smaller scale. People see a lot of these floods and hurricanes and tornadoes and all of these crazy storms happening. Those are only the beginning of the judgments, man. It's going to get way worse, man. It's going to get way worse for this place very soon, right? And this is verse 13. It said, they that till the ground shall mourn. This is going into that famine because the scarcity of food is going to come too, man, right? Because we're coming into a time period known as Jacob's trouble, man, right? Which is fastly manifesting. That's why you got Esau, Edom, the so-called white man building all of these concentration camps throughout America, man, because we're about to come into a time like no other, as the scriptures have said, man, right? And it says, for their seed shall fail through the blasting and hail and with the fearful consolation, right? So you're going to have food shortages happening. You're going to have all type of different things happening in this place, America, right? And I'm actually get that precept just to prove it, right, of what I said, because we are coming into a time like never before, and it's fastly approaching, right? This is St. Matthew chapter 24, and I'm going to start at verse 21. It said, for then shall be great tribulation, such as was not since the beginning of the world to this time, no, nor ever shall be. So we getting ready to come into a time worse than anything known to man. Worse than 70 AD, worse than the transatlantic slave trade, worse than the days of Noah and the flood, worse than Sodom and Gomorrah and the 5 cities that burnt. We coming into a time worse than all of that combined, man. That's how you're going to need Yahweh Shem Yahushua and have to be a part of his elect to escape it. Because if you're not, then you're not going to make it. And it tells you that in the next verse. I'm going to read it. Verse 22. It says, and except those days should be shortened, there should no flesh be saved, right? Because that's how bad it's about to get out here, man. That ultimately, if you're not of the Lord's elect, you're not going to be spared, man, no matter what it is that you think you're ultimately going to use to protect yourself. You got a lot of people prepping on food. You got a lot of people storing up on weapons, doing all of these different type of prepper things, man. That's not going to save you if you don't have that dua that I was going into earlier in Ezekiel chapter 9, man. If you're not exempt from the judgment that Yahweh Shem Yahushua is about to bring, then you're not going to make it, man, no matter who you are. And no matter what type of, skill you have or what you put your trust and hope in, it's not going to save you, man. Right? It tells you in Isaiah 33:6, and I'm going to go to that scripture next. I'm going to finish reading this. It says, and except those days should be shortened, there should no flesh be saved. But for the elect's sake, right, that 1/3 remnant, those days shall be shortened. And that's why we see time speeding by, man. And that's why you see a lot of these prophecies jumping off of the pages, man, because the Lord is speeding up the time, man. That's why 2025 just started, and we are already at the end of it. 2026 is damn near already here, man. Yahweh Shem Yahushua is doing these things, man. Because the Lord knows how evil it's about to get. And him revealing these mysteries unto us, Lord's will we be those men, we know what's to come. And we know how evil it's about to get out here, man. So that's why the Lord is allowing things to speed up quick, man. To come quick. Right? So I'm going to get that Isaiah 33:6, because this is ultimately what's going to keep the Lord's elect stable, man. And a lot of our people, the 2/3 in these other nations, they're not going to have this, man. That's why when these times do come, they're going to be bugging out. People are going to be losing their mind. They're not going to be knowing what to do. People are going to be panicking in a state of fear. It tells you that in Luke 21:26. And I'm actually go to that, right? And then I'm going to hit that Isaiah 33:6. Bear with me. St. Luke chapter 21. And I'm going to start at verse 25. It said, and there should be signs in the sun and in the moon and in the stars, right? And that's why you got a lot of men seeing signs of the chariots, man, which is what they ignorantly call UFOs, right? And it says, and upon the earth distress of nations with perplexity, the sea and the waves roaring, right? Verse 26, men's hearts, meaning their mind, failing them for fear and for looking after those things which are coming on the earth, for the powers of the heavens shall be shaken. And that's what's going to happen to a lot of these so-called tough men out here, and you women, man. If you're not firmly grounded and rooted in Yahweh Bashem Yahushua, you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native American Indians, you're not going to make it in this time that's to come, man. You're not. You're going to be overtaken by the evils that the Lord is going to bring, man. I'm telling you, right? This is Isaiah 33:6. This is what's going to keep the Lord's elect stable. Yahweh Ratazah, we be at that number. It said, and wisdom and knowledge, right, of the Bible, right, shall be the stability of thy times, right? So it's going to keep you stable in the times that we're coming into. Jacob's trouble, all hell breaking loose, race wars, class wars, civil wars, gender wars, anarchy, complete turmoil happening out here in America, man. The Lord's elect is going to be stable, man, right? Due to these words that the Lord have revealed unto us, man, right? We're going to be stable. Lord's will we be those men. It said, and strength of salvation, the fear of the Lord is his treasure, right? Because it tells you in Psalms 34:7, the angel of the Lord encampeth round about those that fear him and delivereth them. That's talking about his elect, man, right? And that's who he's going to deliver from these sad evils, man, right? That's why we hope and pray to be a part of that. But this is back at 2nd Esdras, chapter 15, and I'm going to start at verse 14. It says, woe to the world and them that dwell therein. Woe meaning destruction, man, because that's what the Lord is about to bring upon this place. A lot of destruction, like never before, as I've read, right? A time like no other. It's going to be evils happening on all sides, man, right? There won't be anywhere to escape from these evils, especially if you're not protected by the Lord. And I'm actually go to a precept touching on that because it lets you know how bad it's going to be out here, man, right? This is the book of Amos, chapter 5. And I'm going to get straight to the point. I'm going to go to verse 19. Right? And it said, as if a man did flee from a lion and a bear met him, right? Or went into the house and leaned his hand on the wall and a serpent bit him. That's how these times are going to be, man. That, hey, you're not going to be able to escape if you don't have Yahweh Bashem Yahushua with you, man. If you're not firmly grounded and rooted in his truth, man, you're not going to be able to make it, man. And you got to be able to elect to ultimately make it through these times because the Lord is only giving that strength and that stability to his elect, man, right? This is why we pray and hope to be a part of that number, man. I'm telling you, because it's about to get bad out here, man, very soon, right? Like this stuff ain't going to happen 1,000 years from now, 20 years from now, 5 years from now. No, this stuff is about to happen very soon, man. That's why you see everything that's in place now. Everything is already set for anarchy and chaos, man. And these elites and all of these people at the top, they know it's going to come, man. And they're ultimately wanting it to happen. That's why you got them. They made the Georgia Guidestones, and they actually blew that up because a lot of people was becoming aware of it and going to see it and stuff. But that's why they destroyed it, man. Because once you read that and look at it, you see that they want to, get the world's population to a low level, man. And ultimately, it's all the will of Yahweh Bashem Yahushua because the Lord is going to do a lot of deleting, man. In these times, man. Anybody that's not of his elect in this place, America, is going to be destroyed, man. So the Lord is going to do a lot of slaying, man, in these times, right? Through these various plagues that he's going to pour out, right? And this is verse 15. It said, for the sword and their destruction draw nigh, and one people shall stand up and fight against another, and swords in their hands, right? And we see that about to occur soon. Why you think you got everything happening with the ICE movements, right? With ICE coming after the northern kingdom so heavy. Soon to come, they're going to get ready to come after Judah, which are the southern tribes, you so-called African Americans, you so-called Haitians, you so-called Jamaicans. They're going to come after you next, man. And they're already putting it in place. Why you think Donald Trump just said, I believe it was maybe about a week or two ago, I seen it, he just revoked basically the citizenship of 500,000 Haitians. Basically saying they got to, I believe, August the 3rd or something like that to leave out of this country. So if they don't leave, then what you think he going to start doing to them? Deporting them, putting them in alligator Alcatraz, sending them in these concentration camps, just like they're doing to the Northern Kingdom. And guess what that's going to start? Race wars. That's going to start a lot of contention and things of that nature that have already amongst these people as is. These people are already on edge. They're already bugged out. These people already have no other solutions to lean upon, man. These people are, gone in the mind, man. So what you think going to happen when these ICE agents started coming after the average Jake that was born in America. Because we see they're doing the same thing with the Northern Kingdom. They don't care about them. You got brothers and sisters of the Northern tribes that were born in America. They're still being deported and shipped off. And so how much more you so-called black people? They're going to come after you too, man. Because that's why it's called Jacob's trouble, man. Because this man is going to come with great wrath upon you tribes, man. And this is what we're warning you people about. These times are coming, man. Right? You thinking he building all of these concentration camps just to build them? No, he's going to be throwing you Israelites inside of these things, man. And that's what's going to cause the race wars. That's what's going to cause the division, because you're going to have a lot of people that are not going to want to bow down. So they're going to be rebellious, and that's what's going to amp the chaos up more and more. And ultimately, we know that this is what the Lord wants to bring, because like I said, it's all going towards prophecy. So these things will take place. And I'm actually get a precept just to, back that up too through the Spirit. Isaiah chapter 19, right? And I'm going to start at verse 2. And it says, and I will set the Egyptians against the Egyptians, talking about you Babylonians, man, you people here in America, right? And it says, and they shall fight, right? Everyone against his brother and everyone against his neighbor, city against city and kingdom against kingdom, man. That's what's going to come to this place, America, right? Race wars, class wars, civil wars, anarchy, all of these different types of things, man. These things are going to happen very soon in this place, America, man. Because what you think Jake going to do once they start coming after the Southern Kingdom, man? And next thing you know, they know that the main people that are targeting them are these white supremacists, these neo-Nazis, all of these ICE agents that they're giving badges to and telling them just to go loose and go all crazy and to snatch up you Israelites. What you think that's going to lead to, man? That's going to lead into race wars, man, right? And that's what's going to come, right? It tells you that in Matthew 24:7, for nation shall fight against nation, man, right? And these are the times and seasons that we're in. All of these things are about to start manifesting at a higher scale, man, right? So this is verse 16. It says, for there should be sedition among men, right? And when you go into that word sedition among men, right, it goes into basically like people uprising and fighting against the government. And that's what a lot of these people here in America are going to be doing. Like I said, once they start coming after the Southern Kingdom heavy, like they're going after the Northerners now, trust me, you think Jake and all of these YNs and all of these other demons out here, they ain't going to be shooting at Esau, man? So it's definitely going to be people fighting against the government. All of that is going to come. And that's why you ultimately got Donald Trump putting the Insurrection Act of 1807. He put that into place, which goes into martial law. And as for a lot of you brothers and sisters that have been paying attention, we see that what happened in LA maybe about 3 weeks ago, where they sent 4,500 National Guard troops out there to Cali, right along with 700 U.S. Marine soldiers, man. Why you think they did that? They're doing these things because they're trying to prepare you people's minds to what is to come, man. Because they know that all hell is going to break loose in America. They know it. These elites at the top, they know it. And on the left-hand side, the Lord has given them the power to do these things a little bit. But it's all him that's controlling it, right? But it's all going according to prophecy, like I said. So the Lord is going to allow this devil to take peace from the earth. It tells you that the Lord gave him that power in Revelation 6:4. So he's going to do these things, man, right? But yeah, that's what we're coming into, man. There will be people fighting against the government, man. Interior fighting, and we know what the Lord says as well. A kingdom divided cannot stand, man. So that just proves more and more that we're getting to the end of this place, America. And also Esau, Edom, the so-called white man being in power. All of that is coming to an end, man. And we're seeing it happening in front of our faces, right? So I'm going to read verse 16 again. It said, for there should be sedition among men, and invading one another, they shall not regard their kings nor princes, which are going into the police, the government, all of these different, people that are in power, right? It said, and the course of their actions shall stand in their power, right? Verse 17, it said, a man shall desire to go into a city and shall not be able. And the reason you won't be able to go around and move around freely in these cities, because like I said, martial law is going to come. Because due to all of the chaos that's going to be happening in these inner cities, these devils are going to lock everything down, man. Right? What it tells you, ordo ab chaos, man. Problem, reaction, solution, man. These devils create the problem. They see how the people react to it, and they come with the solution. Right? And the solution is going to be to lock everything down with the military, which is what they want to do anyway, because that's all going towards their New World Order agenda that they're ultimately trying to set up. So everything is all for a reason, man. And it's being designed by Yahweh Bashim Yahushua, man. Right? So I'm going to read verse 18. It said, for because of their pride, the city shall be troubled. The houses shall be destroyed and men shall be afraid. So this all goes back to the wickedness of the people, man, why the Lord is going to bring these terrible times, right? As it tells you in 2nd Esdras chapter 8, verse 50, for many great miseries shall be done unto them that in the latter times shall dwell in the world because they have walked in great pride, man. So that pride is what's going to lead a lot of these Americans and these heathens and all of these other people in this place, America, to their downfall and to their demise, man. That's what's going to cause them to be judged tremendously by the Lord, right? As it tells you in Proverbs 16 and 18, you know, that pride go before destruction and a haughty spirit before a fall, man. And a lot of people in this country is proud as hell. But hey, the Lord got a wake-up call coming for all of these wicked people, man, very soon, and it's called judgment, man. Right? So this is verse 19, right? Because this is just how bad it's going to get out here, right? Like I said earlier, going into that famine, because this is going to be happening during these times. During the time of the uproars of the people and race wars happening and everybody fighting and chaos happening everywhere from all sides, you're going to have people looting these stores, man. Right? So the stores are going to be empty. There won't be any food in these malls and stuff. You already got Donald Trump coming out talking about that there's going to be blackouts. You know, I actually did a video on that yesterday where they talking about between now to 2020, I believe 2030, they said that there can be over 800 hours of blackouts in the United States. So what you think gonna happen, man, when these blackouts happen and people don't got internet, they ain't able to use their phones and all of these things that these people worship and idolize? It's gonna be chaos, man, right? And then we know that a lot of these stores, you know, they have refrigeration units and all of that to keep the food, you know, good and stuff like that. So that's going to go hand in hand with that famine as well. Because once they hit the lights, which we know has to happen, because they got to bring in a new system to implement that might be. So in order for them to do that, they're going to have to do away with this current system that we're under now, right? And that's when you're going to have, guess what, the power going out and all the food that's in these stores and stuff like that. They're not going to be able to be refrigerated or to be what's the word I was looking for? It won't be able to be, you know, saved, basically, if there is no electricity. All of that stuff is going to spoil and go bad within a day or two. And that's what these devils know, because ultimately they want everybody to be dependent upon them, man, to take that chip that they're going to come with, right? So it's all, you got to see the plot, man. That's why it tells you in 2 Corinthians 2 and 11, lest Satan should get an advantage of us, for we are not ignorant of his devices, man. So we already know through the spirit of Yahweh Bashim Yahushua, the Lord has given us the understanding on how these things are going to play out, man. You know? And this is verse 19. It said, a man shall have no pity upon his neighbor, right? But shall destroy their houses with the sword, right? Which is the sword today is the gun, right? And it said, and spoil their goods, right? Spoiling a person's goods is basically you're going to have people kicking in people's houses. You know, people looking at whatever it is that you have and wanting it ultimately because they don't have anything for them and their family. So it's going to be like the wild, wild west out here, man. Like I said before, these are the times and seasons that we're coming in. And you're not going to be protected unless you have Yahweh Bashim Yahushua protecting you, man. Right along with his angels, man. You know? So it says, because of the lack of bread, right, which is going into that famine, there's not going to be any food for real. And for great tribulation, man. So like I said, you know, these are the time and seasons that we're in, and these are the things that are fastly approaching, you know, and we ultimately want to be protected during these times, man. So ultimately we just pray and hope that, you know, the Lord has mercy upon us in these times, you know, and also to you other hopeful elect brothers and sisters out there that the Lord has the same for you, man, because we're coming into these times, man, you know, and it's about to get very seriously out here, you know. So I'm going to actually get this other precept right here that I got, because this is what we pray and hope the Lord can have upon us, man, is his mercy. This is Habakkuk chapter 3, and I'm going to start at verse 2. It said, O Lord, I have heard thy speech, right? The speech is going into the prophecies. We know the things in which it is the Lord is going to bring very soon, right? And it said, and was afraid. And that's what the hopeful elect brothers and sisters are doing in these times. We're afraid, man. We're fearing Yahweh Bashim Yahushua because we ultimately know the judgment that the Lord is about to ring out upon his place. And we don't want no parts of it, man. We want to be protected during these times, man. Right? And it says, O Lord, revive thy work in the midst of the years. In the midst of the years, make known in wrath, which is what the Lord is going to pour out upon this place, Babylon. Remember mercy. So that's what we ultimately hope and pray that the Lord can have upon us is his mercy, man, during these times that are coming. Because they're going to come, like I said, whether you people believe it or not, or whatever the case may be. You know, these things are going to happen in your lifetime, man. A lot of you people are going to see these same events that you think is never going to happen to America. They're going to happen to this place, man. Because this place is destined to be destroyed and destined to fall, man. The Lord said that, let me get this precept real quick. This is Isaiah chapter 46, and I'm going to start at verse 9. It said, remember the former things of old, for I am the Most High, and there is none else. I am the Most High, and there is none like me. Verse 10, declaring the end from the beginning. So it's already written. It was written in the beginning of creation that this place, America, was going to go down, man. It was written from the beginning, man. So all the people that don't believe it's not going to happen to this place, hey, it's going to happen, man. You know? And it says, declaring the end from the beginning and from ancient times the things that are not yet done, saying, my counsel shall stand and I will do all my pleasure, man. And that's going to be the counsel of Yahweh Bashim Yahushua, to ultimately to bring forth evils and judgment and to destroy this place, America, man. Right? Via these plagues that he's about to unleash upon this place. So, you know, that's pretty much everything I had to say with today's lesson. You know, just something quick through the spirit. Lord's willing, I pray it be edifying to you, brothers and sisters that may come across it. But with that being said, I'm going to end this lesson by giving all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Rakah HaKodash. Double honors to the apostles and the elder bishops, a great millstone that rule well, that teach well, while learning truth, 100% according to the Bible. I also want to say shalom to the elect, the 144,000 men, prophet service scattered abroad the four corners of the earth, and shalom to you, Akwaf, which are you sisters that are sincere, and your children, shalom.